Now recording. So I thought I'd introduce a new topic to the agenda. Had a chat with Paul Buck on Friday, and so we are looking for my slides. I'm trying to remember it. We are out of the proposal phase into the incubation phase. We got the approval, so we're going to announce it formally tomorrow.
All right.
So Paul Buck will be on the call tomorrow. So I think, you know, the tone of the meeting is going to be very positive, you know, major milestone. And we'll go over, you know, next steps that we have to do, right? You know, participation agreements and, you know, defining primary and alternate members, having, you know, probably an outline of a marketing budget, which I know is big on your list, Amelia.
It's already done. It's there
okay.
for review.
So yeah, I have to take a look. I apologize. I just thought I'd bring that up. So tomorrow is going to be, you know, an important call. So let's, you know, give Paul a warm welcome because he's worked a lot on his side on this as well. So
this is wonderful. So then you and Kevin are going to wait to announce that, and instead of using the forum, we can update using the forum thread and say this is approved. And we're moving to, because we have the thread going that is pinned into the profile, into the Google Drive, Google forum. Oh, and you are not sharing the screen. Like, do you want to share the screen for the minutes? Because you said
well, whoever does. I mean, this is your call. So normally, you know
what?
I'm putting it on you. MicroProfile Hangout's good enough for me, man.
I know. Okay, Tatiana, do you want to share the screen in the minutes, please?
Okay.
Let's do this because it's not like a job. It's distributed job.
It's an experience.
Yes. So.
That's my marketing for the day.
Let me open the minutes because I need to close a bit of the tabs.
I am super excited. I'm super excited that we.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
You see the minutes, yes?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I see that someone already wrote us into contributors. So yeah.
Can you paste the link to the minutes in the chat, please?
Yep, sure. Chat.
Make it nice and.
It's down in the there.
Yeah, got it.
Awesome.
So, Amelia, I have a question about the budget stuff, and you've sent the link. I finally read all the documents around budget, all those documents that you've prepared. And frankly speaking, everything sounds reasonable and normal. So I'm not sure what kind of help you need from my side. So I wanted to ask you about that on this call, because I saw that there are some documents like general description. So everything is well described there. And there are also some documents like spreadsheets, Google spreadsheets with already some offers what should be done, some activities. Some of them are pasted there, some of them are blank. So here I have a question, because usually when I have our Gelastic marketing plan, I have some specific budget amount that I consider, and then I put it already like distribute to different points, and I have like a list of all the activities, like starting from conferences and then to some, for example, I don't know, some events or ads, paid ads, and so on and so forth. So what is the plan here with these budgets? Do we need to compile some list of activities and then put some approximate price, or what is the task?
So really good question. First, I sent the update into the marketing forum, and I added you, because you were not yet subscriber of the mailing list, you would have missed it. So I added you as in the two, and thank you so much for checking it again. There is what you see, the documents, the two documents you see are a skeleton of what could be what we want to do in this level, that it explains what the marketing for MicroProfile wants to do, at least the soft idea. We want to be transparent. We want to focus on community. We want to protect the speakers, anyone that is pushing MicroProfile forward, right? We want to use the money for our community, and we want to say thank you each single time. And how we do it will depend on the members that will on board on October 1st. We cannot adjust or dedicate any budget at the moment until we have a clear idea who is joining. Thus far, we have 5 members. So then we do have that budget. We can already add it there and it can be adjusted, right? But it's too early to decide. We can say a percentage. I think we should be very efficient on how we decide to spend the budget. And instead of money, we can use percentages, because that can be, if we, as we gain more members, maybe in October 1st, we only have 5 or 6, but then more increase. Later is a little bit easier because we will know the exact amount, but at the moment we don't have it. We only have 5. If we go with 5, I think it's going to change. We will get 1 or 2 other members. So we need to be a little bit soft. And when I said help, it's because what else is missing from the 2 documents? One is the budget for the entire MicroProfile project, the entire project. And it's very dedicated because it mirrors what happens the last 4 years, and we didn't have it before. And then what is missing from that? And then the marketing is exactly what we have done and we will continue to do, all about the community. So what is missing that we could do better, aside from the tools and making sure that, that we provide speakers with a Zoom access, that they can have 300 speakers and instead of only 50, these kind of things, right? Does that answer your question?
Okay, in a way, yes. So basically, I looked through the documents, as I mentioned, and it seems to me that I don't really have some edits to the general documents, to the description itself. But maybe later we can go deeper into the tasks itself and fill in, maybe for the start, we can even fill in not the budget, not the prices for each task, but at least to have like very detailed list of activities that can be done. And then we will see the whole structure, and we will see whether we have money for that or not, because sometimes I'm making such budgeting for some of our partners when we have some cooperation, and I fill in like the whole thing, even the list of possible conferences that can be it. Like it's a kind of task that you need to investigate what kind of conferences can suit. But anyway, later when you have already the budget itself, we can figure out how much money will go to each place.
When we have it figured out clearly, I agree with this. When we were working on the Jakarta budget and the summer of 2018, I even included shipping. I even included miscellaneous and a buffer. I'm really, really specific because there shouldn't be $100 missed, especially when we're talking about open source, and that we want to make sure that, there are so many things added. So I added you and I added Ryan, because the 2 of you have reviewed it as soon as that came out, because I said, hey, can you do this? John, do you want to be one of the contributors of the budget yourself also?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to add you to it immediately after this call. That's just great. We just need to go in there and clean it up, cut some wordings, make sure that it's better. John, does this cover this topic? Because we didn't even open the document at the moment. Tatiana, if you can, we're recording, so if you can say the detail, what it says detail, let's open the original one.
Sorry. I apologize for interrupting. So I'm trying to clean up the contributors that are on the call. So I removed Ryan, and I see Andres as well, and I don't think Andres is on. So
no.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove.
Just remove, yes.
Okay, all right, got it. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No. Tatiana, can you please check, click detailed? That is the main budget. And like that, I can just go really quickly on it, or you can go on it because you already reviewed it twice.
You mean this one? By the way, do you see the screen with the document or with the marketing plan already?
I see it with the Git issue.
Okay, so this is the link that is here.
Yeah, the link is the Git issue, and it has 2 links within the issue. So you just need to click the budget. Yeah, that is the main one that brings you to the marketing also.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's do a really quick by parts.
Okay. So the beginning is like working group fees. I think that this is not like the part to discuss.
No, that is just like so everyone knows what we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Distribution of the fees, 100% visibility. Revenue distribution. Okay, so basically, just for my understanding, the marketing budget will be built based on the investments from the teams that are joining. Am I correct?
Correct.
Or there will be some extra?
No, it will be only by the member groups, the members that join the working group. There will be no extra. Mm-hmm. And what is important, and this is why I said we should use percentages, is because it will change. Hopefully, as the project itself continues to be welcoming and friendly and low bar to entry, more companies or more organizations like JAGS decide to say, hey, I want my community to participate in this. I want these developers that are still students to contribute to MicroProfile. All this, there's so much to win. So there is one question about this. I think the Eclipse Foundation Working Group maintenance fee is 15% for Jakarta, but I think that might be a little bit lower for other working groups. I have asked in the forum for that number, either 15 or 10%, because there are 4 layers of working group fees associated with any project at the Eclipse Foundation, and we just need a reference. So as soon as we have that, we will know what is the fixed fee, because there are 2 fees.
Well,
John, do you know?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit harder than being a fixed fee, because it's going to depend on. There's the kind of an ongoing base rate, and I understand what you're talking about there, and that part may be fixed, right? Like it's going to depend on how much we use to build infrastructure and how much the involvement of the of Eclipse Foundation executives. Early on, it'll be more. Later on, it'll be, I think, a little bit less once we're more established. And then there's a little bit of the fungible stuff, which is, well, this year, we're going to have probably a little bit more legal than we will in subsequent years.
Correct.
So, yeah. So it's, when you say, I don't know if it's necessarily, it's a percentage. But I think, if I recall correctly, what we had listed as, I can't remember what the number is, like 30K or 35K or something is kind of probably going to cover the cost of starting it up with all the legal fees and all of that. I don't remember the exact number.
We hope so, but we do not know. So the agreements are already completed. Like we can use a working group like Oxidoc, or there are 3 pages or 2 pages agreement. It's pretty simple, but you're correct. What I'm talking about is that the maintenance fee is a fixed rate for every working group, no matter what, and it's just fee. Like what we have about legal, every year we likely will have legal as we fixed different things, and that will be creating a new agreement or doing something, and we will have to pay for it. And that will be included as in the sheets that is already added into the sheets to say, this was created on this quarter and it covers this much with the actual amount. That is something that will fluctuate. In the first year, we just have to worry about trademarks, the trademark notebook, making sure that the legal agreements are covered. And there is the part about how much every member will work on trying to adjust the agreement directly with the Eclipse Foundation. We have no control over that. We have estimated that it might not be more than 40K. And I hope we are even lower. If it can be done by 20,000, given that many agreements are already created, that would be even better. But let's see what happens. But I am saying that there are two fixed things, and that is the maintenance fee that we need to pay the Eclipse Foundation, that is roughly 10 to 15%, and that will not change. Then I asked Paul the second question in the forum, and usually every project that is new project under that foundation requires a pullback to help with, submitting releases and being like there as a facilitator. We don't need that because MicroProfile has been releasing major releases 3 times per year, with the exception of this year. And we don't need anyone to handhold us because we already know what to do. That will be another 5% fixed rate, and it goes and actually gets increases. And we don't need that. So my question to Paul was, can we do without this? Because we rather use that money for the community, as we don't need someone to facilitate and tell us how to do the releases.
No, we don't need a program manager. I mean, the way the Jakarta working group decided they wanted a program manager, right?
Yeah,
so that's
they decided.
And marketing
now,
and so on. So that working group decided to operate that way, and we could operate however we want to operate.
Exactly. So I am making sure that we don't get a hit with the 5 or 7%. And the reply has not been done, but MicroProfile has been so honest on saying, we don't want to pay for hires. We don't, so even that is included because we don't need that help. So as soon as we know that, can you click, Tatiana, on the planning for marketing, the draft? So then John can see it. Because John, I am assuming you haven't seen this yet.
I think I looked at it briefly earlier.
Like 2 months ago, like seriously.
It's been a little while.
Uh-huh.
I need to get caught
Diana,
up.
thank you so much for sharing the screen. It's awesome.
All right, we have no marketing plan. Oh, here we go.
That's the way how internet works in Spain.
Yes, it's not unique to Spain, trust me.
Yeah. Okay, so here I'm going to add you, John, and to the editors, just like we did the charter. It will be the same thing. And then there is a mission. Check out the mission. It's just to add value. We're very simple. You said, and then go down, Tatiana.
I have a quick operational question, kind of.
Okay.
Are you creating these documents as the MicroProfile user? So what I've started doing is I create all the accounts as the MicroProfile user, and then what I'll do is I'll grant privileges to all the other, to myself, right, for instance, and other users, and try to edit those documents as those users. And you catch me occasionally because Google Docs defaults to them, to what it was created under. So have you done that?
John, great question. I didn't, because I didn't want to be cut up like you have been cut up sometimes working as the user. I didn't, but I should do it because this is it needs to not have my name associated with it. You're absolutely correct. I need to log into the account, copy paste, delete this one, and go through to that one. So task for me.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be done, if you need to go to that. It's just moving forward. Just that the MicroProfile user should own the docs, and then we can edit them as ourselves.
Yes.
It's not a big deal, but
no, it is important, but I figure that we will do that after it's completed, because this document is going to live in the wiki of MicroProfile and the main repo, and it's not going to, this document will live in the drive, so I didn't pay so much attention, but the idea is for the document to go into the wiki and make sure, whatever, so that it can be adjusted in the future directly via PRs. So that is what I care more about, and this is why I didn't adjust it. But you're correct.
Well, to me, it's more to do with people coming and going as into the working group, and so the one consistent thing is the MicroProfile user ID.
Yes.
Sorry, Emily. I think you were going to say something.
Emily, yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Hello.
So it's I have a question for this kind of the door kind of etc. What's the purpose of this one? So what's the goal? what's the, I mean, who do we want to, I mean, tell and the information about?
So you're talking about why do we need to work on micro?
Why do we need this marketing planning, like this thing?
It's required.
Is it required by Eclipse Foundation?
Yes, we thought we could do it a little bit later, but it's required for us to leave incubation. We are we just entered the third stage, that is
Right.
incubation, and we cannot go active or live on October 1st without something that says this is our plan. And this is why this was created. This was created like almost 2 months ago, just so that we wouldn't have to have any issues. It's just a requirement. We couldn't launch the project without it.
Oh, this is, yeah, I thought this is a kind of the MicroProfile working group charter is the only required thing.
Nope.
I wasn't.
Well, it's a draft marketing plan that's required, not a finalized one.
Yeah, draft. So is kind of the as long as there's something in place, the Eclipse Foundation will not review this. It's mainly for our like MicroProfile community, right? Or Eclipse Foundation also need to review this.
All of them need to be approved, but it's a soft thing because we are not going to hire anyone under the Eclipse Foundation. So this is our proposal, and it's very challenging for the foundation to come and try to adjust what we think, how we will operate MicroProfile. They cannot decline or cannot force us to do something that we do not believe in. However, this will need to be approved, just like the charter was, by the Eclipse Foundation EMO.
Well, the intent is, I think, it's to communicate it amongst the members themselves, to make sure there's a vendor neutral way of doing it. That's the Eclipse Foundation's role in this. It's just to make sure, they're not here to tell us what we have to do or not do. It's just to make sure that the working group is kind of vendor neutral. It's just a way for them to, they'll probably look at it a little bit and say, yeah, fine, right? This is my assumption. But it's also there for the community, right? But keep in mind that in some working groups, the marketing committee is not necessarily a public committee. So really it's about, I think, from the Eclipse Foundation's perspective, that the members all have input into the, into the marketing plan, and it's neutral, right? You don't want to focus the messaging toward one vendor, right?
Correct.
But from our perspective, from a MicroProfile working group perspective, we want the community feedback and participation up front, as opposed to kind of reviewing and stuff after the fact.
Yeah, and John, you nailed it. We don't want to inform the community of how the money will be spent, right? We want to make sure that they are part of the shaping of this. So using the charter, we have tried to do the best that I can to just do a simplicity. Hey, this is the stuff. What else can we add? What can we remove? And it's a draft. It's super crude, and it will just need to be tackled as we continue to work on the working group calls or the community calls to say what else do we need to do, just like we did the charter. What can be dropped or adjusted from this?
Sorry, go for it.
Well, there's one thing I wanted to say there. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the steering committee members who contribute to the budget. So they, at the end of the day, I think, have the final say as to how the money is spent. Obviously, we want to be responsive to our community, right? And so having that involvement early on and with their participation is really important, because, we may think we know what we want to do for, in the community's best interest. It may not be based on their feedback, right? So it is a collaboration, but at the end of the day, I think, the steering committee votes to approve the budget most likely.
It will have to approve.
I'm not sure how that works.
No, the steering committee will have to approve even the draft, the V1. We'll have to approve it and we can adjust that. This is easier. But Emily, go ahead.
If I understood correctly, because we never put this under light and to say, okay, we need to get approval by Eclipse Foundation before we can release form our MicroProfile working group. So in the past, I always think that this marketing is after the fact. Basically, is when the working group is set up, and then we will just look at this marketing plan. I wasn't aware this has to be approved before the MicroProfile working group is approved by foundation.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I steal the screen?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna steal,
Yeah.
let's see here, real quick.
Yeah, so Emily, great question. John will show. In the past, when we helped with Jakarta EE, we didn't have to have any of this. Everything came later, like it took almost a year.
That's what I thought.
But yes, but now the requirement that we are being told is that we need this to get out of incubation. And it doesn't need to be final, but it has to be there roughly to say that we know what we're doing, right? And I do not know if this is being set up as for all the other projects. What I know from other projects that came to life in 2022 is that they didn't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Three projects didn't have to do this, but we are being told that we need to do this. So because of it, I created the drafts for both the MicroProfile working group budget and the marketing, because it's easier for me to do so from scratch, move on, and we are not blocked. In the case that we will be blocked in the future, I am hoping that there is a level of flexibility when we can be as the other three working groups that didn't have to have this set up.
Right. If in this case we need to hurry up, then we need to.
No, it's a draft, and it doesn't have to be down to like line items.
Oh,
this is how much. This is how much we have to spend on that. That's not what this is. It's really just making sure, you know, it's like, what's the scope of what we're going to cover, right? You know, maybe it's, you know, it's a draft. It's not final, right?
Yeah. As long as there's a kind of writing blob, something.
Yeah, it's not blob. If you read it, it's very concise in the level, but it is a draft. It shows that we know what we're doing. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so if you recall, this is the working group. This is the slide deck, and I can paste this in here in the chat in a second. But it's, you know, this is the life cycle diagram. I just literally, these are ripped off from the Eclipse Foundation website. I just stuck it in slide format. So this describes each phase. We were in the opportunity phase. We got all the thumbs up. We're kind of in the proposal. We're darn near in the incubation phase, right? Really, I think I think we have to have a +1 there. Recruiting materials, I'm gonna try and tidy those up. I've already got a kind of a prospectus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think the data sheet is required. The data sheet is really, I think, for going to conferences and having it in the Rolodex of material. The charter's to be published any day now. I think Paul's working on that, so that'll be published any day.
When that gets published, we got the approval of the charter on Friday. When that gets published, we will have the little thumbs up, which I love. You made it colorful with MicroProfile colors. Yeah. Well done. And for the recruitment materials, we have created, because you were super awesome on that side to draft those, 2 documents. The 2 documents need to be here. We have the cycle, that is this one, because it matters. This is like recruitment materials. And then we have the perspectives. Those 2 documents need to be added here. And then we need, for page number 4, we need to add legal, because I have seen the Eclipse working groups, and it never includes legal, but legal is a major hit on the first year. So I wasn't able to adjust this document, John, but I think I asked you like a month ago to please add that, or give me access to add that section that is missing from page 4. So there is a comment, and I added you to it. Okay. Emily, does this answer your question? Do you understand why we need to work on this and there is no blockage? We have what we need.
Yeah. I think that's roughly meets my understanding. But the only is the only difference I didn't know is as long as there's a draft version would be fine. Okay.
Great question.
I thought we don't even need this. I thought once it's kind of charter approved, and then we can work on this. But this is more like, okay, as long as you have a draft, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Hey, John, thanks for joining today.
Thank you. Thank you for, I'm sorry for, such.
No, questions are great. Your questions were awesome because we have not even talked about this. And tomorrow we're going to present it, and hopefully there we get similar questions. So I recommend you ask again, so then we can reply and answer those questions for everyone, because that is the one that gets mostly watched as a recording. Is so valuable. So don't ever apologize, because that is exactly the why questions we need.
All right, so I think Tatiana, if you want to go ahead and share.
Keep sharing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to look at me.
Yeah, and I think we can go back. Tatiana, let's go back to the second task. If we go to the goals, let's go down. Then you were there. Let's go to the agenda. There, here. So then the target audience. There are some things we need to work on this. Target audience is super important. In this budget, aside from competitors, there is a section that is so important that we need to say, who are we talking with? Who do we want to know about MicroProfile for contributing users? I think everyone, but we will always need to be focused on different groups at certain times. And you see, every single time I think about a release, I think about contributors. How do we get new contributors interested on becoming the newest contributor that will help adjust documentation, create tools to test code and all those things? So then I think this is going to fluctuate depending on the activities that we're working on, right? And I think when we have conferences that are virtual now, I think who is someone that has never spoken about MicroProfile, who is so right now into MicroProfile and who would be an awesome first-time speaker? And I think about giving the option for MicroProfile to help those doers do an amazing job. So the target audience needs to fluctuate depending on what we're doing a particular time or quarter. And that would be my recommendation. I did not add it here. I just said global universities. We're talking about the new users, the new contributors in the future. We need to be thinking outside of the box of what currently is. And this is likely the most important section on this marketing plan, the target audience. Because if we can talk so much and so beautiful about things, but if we do not know who we're talking with, and if they are being receptive to us, we totally fail. And there is no goal of to add value. And this plan is about adding value, right? That means being very good communicators with those people, the target audience. Inside on this, if you need to watch and check the draft, this is the most important part, the audience.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then here in the bottom, we have swag ideas and all this. And if we click, no, that one is like Excel. It should bring you to.
This one is also.
Mm-hmm, that one is Excel. So Tatiana was right. I do not know why it's not bringing you there. So every budget has Excel, and it's just super soft, very, very not detailed at the moment. But we have gone, as you can see, by tabs, and we can duplicate it every year and be adjusted, make it super friendly, and be very specific by communities. I believe in KPIs and metrics, and so it depends what we want to do. And I did say MicroProfile champions because we have had them for a long while. So they are already named here. We have road shows, booths that I don't believe are valuable, but I am in the minority on that one.
Well, this is already maybe for the next year, not for this year for sure.
Exactly.
The booth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of it is like future, but it's there. So we know what we, so if anything is missing or is too much, we can adjust it. It goes by tabs and it's like there. All right, before we move out of the budgets, any questions? So then we can go to the other items and the agenda for today.
So far, no questions from my side.
John?
I think I'm good.
I will add you as an editor in the documents, and
Okay.
please just use suggested edit, just like we did the charter, so we know what is being changed, and we can discuss it like we usually do with everything. I don't think it's going to be complicated or like super light. All right, next topic, Tatiana.
I see that the next point we have is adding links to the second card of MicroProfile on Ryan and Emily.
Emily, you own this one.
Yeah, I did issue, and also I mocked up, not mocked up, I even create a GitHub page, and for Ryan to add a link. I don't know whether is Ryan is working this week or
he's working this week, but right now he's not in the office. So he created something to show you here.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah. So basically, no, this is page I created. Oh, this is
This one is already a MicroProfile IO, Emily. He used your feedback.
oh, okay.
And he went into the
okay.
And he replied to the issue, but it's easy to miss because it was in the weekend.
Right. So can you go to the MicroProfile.io, the top page?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Can you scroll down to see the boxes? Yeah, click on config. No, can go up. Thank you. Is click on config. Can you, no, that's not as yet. So
it's still, it's like the image right now. It's not the.
Yeah. So basically, the Ryan's next task is click on config and go to that page.
And for that, I think what Ryan needs now is for you to check the page he created with your help, and then using that ticket, you can see what else is amiss on that page. And then, because remember, we're creating a template for each of the APIs. And this template needs to be valid for the 12 APIs. If something is missing, this will need the review. So I think my recommendation is for us to show it tomorrow, see what else is missing, and then execute. Is that okay with you, Emily? Just check it?
Yeah, I used the GitHub page directed, like checked in the file into the each individual kind of repositories. So that's trying that kind of template I came up with. So yeah, for sure tomorrow so we can go through to see whether it covered all the information.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting.
Sorry. if it's kind of the it content all the information, is good to use that template. So each individual spec can go ahead to create that page, and then Ryan can directly link to that page.
Can you, Emily, I have a question. Can you show us the Git in the template that you created? Tatiana, can you stop sharing? And Emily, are you okay to share?
Yeah. Let me first go to my template.
Yeah, because I think like having the templates is just so efficient. We, on the last call 2 weeks ago, we even chatted about having a PR be submitted so that it will update immediately the API and the website. But that is for later because it needs to be coded. But if we do a really good job on that, on this template, then that would be super easy, right? Like, even though the releases are 3 times per year, we could be even much more proactive, and everyone, any contributor can send the PR and like not be approved, it needs to be reviewed, but be merged as a final, which makes MicroProfile in the website on that section extremely healthy.
So yeah. So basically, this is interesting. Adam Ben, probably you all know him, right?
Adam Bean, yeah.
Yeah, he interviewed me recently talking about all the MicroProfile, And then he came out, he said there's a kind of, I asked him for feedback, and he said it's really kind of difficult to find like up-to-date information. Like when you go to MicroProfile.io, is not developer focused. And that's the kind of, I said that's exactly the same, the issue we're trying to address. And then he said, why don't you do the GitHub pages and then kind of come up with a template so other specification all can use the same template. So, and then it's really fitting really nicely with what currently we are doing.
Yes.
Really
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Oh, and Emily, you are not showing, but awesome, awesome follow. You are sharing. I think, John, I think you will have to help us on that side. Like Emily share Slack.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, it's okay.
So here is the kind of, I directly like checked out MicroProfile config. So I try to experiment with the GitHub pages. So I create basically this index markdown. So basically it's like that. So this is directly the kind of, the beauty of that is with that one, and then if I go to the settings, and then it automatically have a website published for me, like this one. So it's I just directly edit that one, and this web page directly published. So it's very easy to maintain. So this is the kind of the what Ryan like trying to mimic. So if it's kind of, it has all the kind of, tomorrow we can discuss this. If it's kind of, it's good enough, I think I would just say if it's kind of is reach to the kind of the consensus, or so we don't need to be make it perfect because we can always improve it.
Correct.
So just like put it up there for feedback and etc. So we can use the similar thing to get this GitHub page on the proper MicroProfile specifications.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super easy to maintain because you just maintain the that index.md.
Mm-hmm. You know, Emily, because we're using GitHub pages, I really like GitHub pages because it allows for someone that is not a committer to submit a PR and get the PR for review. And that is not possible on the wiki, on any of the projects under the Eclipse Foundation. But with
well, there's comments
pages,
on the wiki pages, but
yeah, but comments are not enough. So, and I have to say, like, we are also trying that in the Jakarta side for the TCK. We're using, because of how valuable it is. And I'm so happy we're you know, already using it here. Just, I love it. Any questions? John, you're a technical driver here. Do you have, you were really involved in the website for Jakarta. Any feedback on making the MicroProfile website developer friendly?
I think you mean the other John.
John,
the other John.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add at the moment.
Good. Yeah,
yeah, the one question, oh, I'm sorry, John,
by the way.
Go ahead.
Sorry for the background noise here. It's kind of crazy.
I don't hear anything.
I did,
oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Emily, what are you showing here?
What I'm showing here, I just show is really easy to edit the file. So basically I just show the markdown. It's quite easy.
To me, it looks amazing. Like in the timing is perfect because it has been almost 2 weeks and then now we have almost a clickable API. And if this works, I think it's going to work. We can start executing it tomorrow. And then just, what we want to make sure is that it's not just you, Emily, doing the work for all the APIs. We need to have so many different microprofilers use the template to do this. Anyone that is active on those APIs need to become involved so that they are aware of this is existing. And I wonder, tomorrow the question is going to be, who wants to own that work on being the, you know, the facilitator to communicate with those individuals and make sure that they start to submit via Git issues these templates with the data. Because the PR is fine, but it needs to be submitted via the marketing issue. So there is a process.
So how is this different from the releases page?
Releases page.
In terms of the content that we provide.
So the difference is here, like a releases page. If I go to, you can see here is kind of have a reasoning, top overview and brief design, right? For the release page, oh no, if I directly go to MicroProfile config, so it's so here the release is kind of scattered around. You don't know what MicroProfile is about, and then many releases, right? The kind of RC and etc. And that's kind of the GitHub pages basically give you a top overview, what's the config is about, and then just a list the final releases, and has a JavaDoc, spec, and PDF, and etc. It has all this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's different. I was thinking about the MicroProfile top level release, which looks a lot more similar to the one that you have. Can you just go to the address bar and just get rid of -config? So we can just see the part.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just so we can see the MicroProfile. There you go.
So here again, like you have the many releases. Basically, it's buried in the releases. You need to find the releases, and also it only have like the release, and then you click and go to the PDF and etc. It doesn't give you a quick paragraph about what the MicroProfile config is about.
All right, no, that's fine.
Yeah, Emily, I have a question because I have not reviewed the new page. Mm-hmm. And I will use the one on the website. But when you were writing it, did you write examples of what does a config solves? You know, I don't think I see something like say this solves X. You see what is the value? So do you add something like that is so clear to read? On the top of paragraph, I have a rationale. Why do we need this? What's MicroProfile config is about. Can we see that part, Emily? Just because I have not reviewed it, so you can just show us. Because of anything that we can write, I want to see what is the problem that the API solves. And it should be in the first sentence. So let's see. It doesn't say the value.
Yeah, and then you have a design.
Mm-hmm. But what I mean is the welcoming to config and MicroProfile is there, but I think we need a layer, a subtitle that says what the issue that it solves. I understand if I was a new user and I never knew about MicroProfile, I wouldn't know what does this solve with my architecture. Where can I use it? Do you see? We need examples of what this API has done. Real life examples, not like a case study, but
that's kind of in the samples is all in here. So are you saying, and we could have a code snippet and like the majority kind of usage or something like that. So basically have a problem statement.
Correct.
And how you kind of fix that problem.
Correct. Is that valuable for other microprofilers in this call? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because Emily, we need to wait for others to say, maybe I'm off, maybe I'm thinking too much. I see that if there is no problem and it doesn't show me how it's fixed, I don't see the value.
Yeah, so I think it's good we kind of it's good to open the floor for others to say what kind of information they want this page to convey, and then we can like say, okay, what's a kind of header, what kind of header, and then maybe we should have a show me example as a heading. And yeah, and then the most important thing I think for me is kind of this is a kind of central area we get all the releases, and you can see this. Yeah.
We need pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Good,
like
good one.
Diagrams.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, you know, it just nothing exotic and super detailed, right? But just, for example, something showing multiple external property sources, config sources, you know, feeding into a single application, right? Something like that. It doesn't have to be super detailed.
Yeah. So I have that's interesting. So it's so we can use something like this. Let me find the config. Something like this, kind of make it bigger.
Yeah, I mean, that particular one is probably too complex without having, because you're speaking to this, right, explaining it.
Yeah,
but
true.
but something along these lines, right, of like the lower right hand one or something, right?
Yep, this is exactly what problem it solves. We need it, and now you have two feedbacks on that, but tomorrow is going to be extremely valuable because you can show what you brought as a group draft that is now on the website, and you know, we are just brainstorming with you before tomorrow, so then you can come up even with other things, right? Because you're really involved. You and Mark Struberg are the spec leads for config, so it would be a super good idea, even though Mark is in Vienna. If he could also join, I would ping him and see if he could join tomorrow. Or maybe, Emily, you want to check with him because it's just such a important API.
My internet, my broadband, yeah, is went off previously during you were talking. So who are you saying?
I'm talking about Mark Struberg. He is also.
Yeah.
And we definitely want his feedback. He might not need to join the call tomorrow, but can you send him the Git issue that is a totally new Git issue and say, hey, Mark, we are creating this template. It needs to be user-friendly, developer-friendly. We're talking to developers. What else is missing here? Because definitely, I think if he has any feedback, he will use the Git to provide feedback. And because I know he's super code-friendly and developer-friendly, like definitely want to hear from him, if anyone else from him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We see whether he got any spare minute.
Yeah,
so
like seriously.
I talked to him. Yeah, from time to time, he's busy, quite busy. Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah.
So Emily, can you stop sharing? I think we have 3 minutes and we cover the two topics we needed to cover: the budget and the website. There are more topics in the agenda, but we will never make it.
So do you want me to share for what? You want to share or Tiana to share? Do you think the website is kind of done deal, or you want more things?
Well, we have several points that left in the list. So first of all, this is like website branding resource page improvements. And
let's click on that one.
Yeah, there is a new page there, like with the branding resources. I just opened it, frankly speaking, because I missed the previous call, so I'm not sure what was discussed there. Here I see some materials like logos can be found, and some information like colors and fonts, and even some samples of materials for social media. And the question there was in the chat, what kind of information should be added more?
Yeah,
I don't know. For the start, it seems to me okay. Maybe in the future there might be some block with the samples of the logos. If we are going to have some logos like MicroProfile partner or MicroProfile committer or something like that. So some sources for companies to download and use for their materials later.
And Tatiana, there is a Git issue for this, and it's the one that Jorge Andres created. So there you go. This one is a new one that is reference to that issue.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jorge Andres, who added himself, but is not joining today. And this is related to 2888. He comes from Colombia, and in his communities, they code and contribute to MicroProfile on their own right. And he was like, can we do something that makes the speakers come and know where to go? Not only about asking for the speakers that are MicroProfile to come and speak in our communities, but also what can we use for our presentations? So then now for the last few years, MicroProfile has been creating all those things that you see on the page, but we never had a single page that said, here is everything. This is in the drive. It has been there always. And the question that the ticket says is, what else can we add? You're correct. The working group will require the logo that says you are a MicroProfile member, and we need to create those kind of things. But what else can facilitate for the broader community? And that is all in the ticket. So any feedback needs to be sent via the ticket. And the page is so cool and it's live.
Yeah, I see that there is in the list presentation templates. It sounds good, especially if you're going to have some speakers at the conferences from MicroProfile. Then it's good to have like general branded look and template for the presentations. Again, more social media images, because there can be too much of them. So it's always good to have some fresh ones.
Yep.
So yeah, but generally the beginning is really good. The page is already looks good.
What we did was, what Ryan did was just put what we had in place for the last few years. And it's super simple. So now we need to adjust it and simplify it. So it's going to be so cool. And we have the tickets. So tomorrow he will present it and explain what we have done in the past and how easy it was for us to create it. Because this is something that we have been doing before. Now we have a problem with the social media. Someone needs to use Adobe. Not everyone in the community pays for Adobe Suite. So the next idea on that side is to make it so that they don't need Adobe. And we will change that out. There are a few things we will change. And Ryan
I apologize. I need to drop.
Yeah, no, we have to go. But this is amazing. This is a really good, we didn't go 30 minutes. We have the full hour.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.